first thing I felt was heat. Not the warm kind, the kind that bites. Metal screamed as the station split open above me, sparks raining down like burning snow. I wasn't supposed to be here tonight. I wasn't supposed to live through this. Rashawn's voice echoed in my ear, sharp and calm. Rocky, the hull is collapsing. I gripped the cold steel railing. The oxygen lines below hissed like cornered snakes. The night outside was carved apart by fire trails, ships dying, falling like bleeding stars. Then I heard it. Don't stop! The whisper slipped through everything. Alarms, fire, cracking steel. It didn't come through comms. It came from inside the hangar. From her. Bisma stood under the fractured ceiling, half drenched in blue coolant light. Her skin shimmered faintly, as if stars were breathing beneath the surface. Black eyes, bare feet on scorched steel, calm in the middle of a storm. Who are you? I whispered, voice breaking like the ground under my boots. She didn't answer. She only tilted her head, alien grace, precise and strange. Outside, flames ripped through the lower decks. The station shook again. Something massive struck the west hull. I heard the bone-deep groan of metal surrendering. Behind her, something moved. It wasn't human. It slid through the smoke like a shadow learning how to walk. No face, no sound. Just a dark shape bending space around it. Move! I shouted, but she didn't. She raised her hand instead. Her palm glowed, soft at first, then bright enough to paint the hangar wall silver. The air cracked. A shock wave ripped forward. The creature slammed against the far wall, twisting into itself with a sound that vibrated in my chest. Her whisper coiled around my breath again. Don't stop! I snatched the pulse rifle from the rack. My hands didn't shake. Training never dies. It just waits. I aimed, fired. A streak of blue lightning tore through the haze. The thing screamed without sound, a pressure wave that rattled my skull. Bisma turned to me slowly, her lips parted. You shouldn't have done that. Her voice wasn't from this world. It carried no fear, no panic, only a quiet warning that made my spine tighten. Who the hell are you? I asked. She took a step closer, each movement precise, controlled. When her fingertips brushed my wrist, everything vanished. Suddenly, I wasn't standing in the hangar anymore. I saw a city floating above a red desert, towers like silver veins wrapping the sky. I saw ships burning, skies torn apart, people screaming in languages I didn't understand. And through all of it, I saw myself, standing beside her. The vision ended. I collapsed against the railing, chest hammering. What did you do to me? I gasped. She whispered, softer than breath. I showed you what's coming. The hangar door exploded inward. Plasma light filled the space. Soldiers in dark armor stormed in, their leader stepping through the smoke like a blade drawn from fire. Clisson. Even through the chaos, I knew that face. The hard jaw, the scar tracing down his cheek. The man who trained me. The man I betrayed once. Or maybe he betrayed me first. Step away from her, Clisson barked. Rocky, you don't know what she is. She just saved my life, and I snapped back. His plasma rifle locked on Bisma's chest. She's the reason this station is falling apart. She's not saving you. She's using you. Bisma's hand found mine again. Warm, electric. Her pulse beat against my skin like a hidden war drum. If you let go, she whispered, you die. Roshan's voice cut through my earpiece. Warning. Structural collapse in 20 seconds. Clisson took one step forward. Rocky, don't do this. For the first time, I didn't know which betrayal hurt more. The one in his eyes or the one waiting in hers. But I made my choice. I raised my rifle and aimed it at Clisson. The ground split beneath us like a wound tearing open. The hangar floor collapsed into the burning dark. And as we fell together, me, her, and the enemy I once called brother, her heartbeat thudded against mine like two fates being welded. In the darkness below the station, I realized something far worse than war had already begun, and I was already part of it. Darkness isn't silent, it growls. The fall felt endless, like gravity had turned into a living thing and wrapped its claws around me. My ears rang from the explosion above. Flames licked the edges of the collapsing station as I plummeted through the smoke-choked shaft. Bisma's hand never let go. Her grip was tight, not desperate, calculated, as if she'd already fallen through hell before and knew exactly how to land there. "Brace," she whispered. I didn't have time to ask. A pulse of silver light erupted from her palm. It wrapped around us like a cocoon, bending the air, slowing the fall. My boots smashed against the steel deck below, not bone-breaking, but enough to make my knees scream. The air down here was different, heavy, stale, metallic. The lower decks were a forgotten skeleton, abandoned after the reactor fires decades ago. The alarms above had faded to a distant howl. Down here, only the station's heartbeat remained, low, slow, dying. Roshan's voice flickered in my earpiece, glitching. "Rocky, you've dropped below deck 19. Sensors unstable, power grid failing, and something is moving down there with you." Of course there was. Bisma straightened like a blade. The blue veins beneath her skin glowed brighter in the dark, like stars waking up. Her eyes scanned the shadows with predator precision. I was trained to survive in war zones, but she was built for them. I tightened my rifle's grip. "Where are we?" "Under your world," she replied softly, "where truth hides." That answer wasn't comforting. A blast door groaned open ahead of us. Not automatically, manually. Someone up top had overridden it. Light spilled through, slicing the dark. Clisson stepped through the door like he owned the abyss. Plasma rifle leveled. Armor dusted with ash. No hesitation in his stride. His voice echoed across the empty corridor. "End of the line, Rocky." I raised my gun out of instinct, but he didn't flinch. His visor reflected the flickering emergency lights, and for a heartbeat, I saw the same man who once trained beside me, who once saved my life on Titan Ridge. But that man was gone. "Let her go," he ordered. "She's not your ally." Bisma moved in front of me, like a wall of starlight. "He's not ready," she whispered. "Ready for what?" I snapped. Neither of them answered. The deck beneath my boots thrummed with a low mechanical pulse. A vibration crawled through the steel. Roshan's voice came through again, urgent now. "Rocky, reactor breach spreading. You have 5 minutes before this sector implodes." Clisson stepped closer. "You come with me now, Rocky, or you burn with her." I should have followed him. I should have trusted the man I once called brother. But there was something in Bisma's stillness, a quiet that felt heavier than all his orders. "Why me?" I demanded. "Why am I even part of this?" Bisma turned slowly. Her black eyes caught the light and held me like gravity itself. "Because your blood carries a door." "What?" Before she could answer, the floor shook. A metallic roar split the air, a sound that didn't belong to machinery. From the tunnel ahead, steel panels peeled open like paper, and something crawled out. It wasn't human, it wasn't machine. It was both. A skeletal frame of dark alloy, veins of molten gold pulsing through its chest. A single red lens rotated like a hunting hawk. I felt the temperature drop, as if the thing brought the cold with it. Roshan's voice turned to static. "Rocky, get out! It's awake!" Bisma breathed. Clisson's rifle snapped up. "Back!" But the creature moved faster than bullets. It slammed into him, a blur of steel and fury. Sparks exploded as his armor met its claws. I dove, dragging Bisma with me behind a fallen beam. The fight was brutal. Plasma flares, metal grinding, bones cracking. Clisson roared like a soldier trying to drown out death. I peeked through the smoke. The creature's claws pierced his chest plate. He fired point blank into its core. It didn't even flinch. Bisma's voice brushed against my ear. "If it reaches the core, everything dies." "What is that thing?" I hissed. She looked at me, calm even with death inches away. "Your species built it. Mine buried it." The machine lifted Clayson and slammed him into the wall. His rifle clattered to the ground, sparking. He was pinned, gasping, and for the first time, I saw fear in his eyes. Bisma grabbed my hand again. "We can't fight it, but we can outrun it and leave him." Her silence said everything. The creature tilted its head, scanning the room, and then it turned its red lens toward me. I swear I felt it see inside me. Clayson's blood smeared the floor as he shouted, "Go!" Bisma yanked me toward the maintenance hatch. Alarm screamed again, louder this time. The deck buckled beneath the weight of what was coming. As the hatch slammed behind us, I heard metal tear, bones snap, and then nothing. As we ran through the hollow corridors, her hand burned against mine. And somewhere behind the steel, the sound of Clayson's scream cut through the station like the end of the world. The hatch door slammed shut behind us, sealing Clayson's screams on the other side. Silence didn't follow. It bled. The station groaned like a dying giant. Lights flickered in short, frightened bursts. The corridor ahead stretched into shadow, a skeleton spine of steel, pipes, and trembling walls. Every sound echoed like it belonged to someone else. Bisma didn't look back. She walked as if she already knew what waited in the dark. My pulse pounded so loud I could hear it bouncing off the walls. My mind kept replaying it. The way that machine pinned Clayson, the helpless look in his eyes. The same man who once dragged me out of a burning shuttle on Titan Ridge. The same man who trained me, betrayed me, protected me. I couldn't decide which memory to believe anymore. Bisma, my voice cracked. We can't just leave him. Her steps didn't falter. If you go back, you die. He saved my life before. She stopped, slowly turned, her eyes black and endless, locked onto mine. Then repay that debt by living. The way she said it, it wasn't cold. It was final, like she'd already buried too many people to count. Roshan's voice whispered into my ear, low and static-ridden. Rocky, Clayson's vitals are dropping. Life signs unstable. That thing is rewriting him. Rewriting him? I froze. Bisma touched the side of the corridor. Metal shimmered beneath her palm. A map of glowing lines spread like veins across the wall. Old alien circuitry hidden under human steel. This station, she whispered, wasn't built only by your kind. I stared at the glowing map. What are you talking about? The skeleton beneath your colony is older than Earth's claim, she said. And the thing that hunts us was born here. Her glow spread along the corridor like liquid light. The floor shifted with a faint tremor. My training told me to run, but my instincts told me everything I thought I knew about this place was a lie. Rocky, Roshan's voice sharpened. The lower core is unstable. Reactor temperature rising. I advise immediate evacuation. There's nowhere to go, I muttered. Bisma looked over her shoulder, her expression unreadable. There is. But it's not up there. She led me deeper. Down past twisted pipes, past doors welded shut, past the point where the human part of this station ended. The air changed again, colder, denser, filled with faint electric whispers, like the station itself was breathing. I ran my hand across the wall. It thrummed beneath my fingertips, not like machinery, like something alive. What is this place, I asked. Her voice lowered. A grave. The tunnel opened into a cavern of steel. Towering columns rose like bones, pulsing with soft golden light. And in the center, a sphere floated silently, black as ink, veins of crimson running through it like a beating heart. Roshan went silent. The static in my ear vanished. Even my breath seemed to bow to the thing in the center. That, Bisma said softly, is the core. It's alive, I whispered. It's remembering. She stepped forward. I followed reluctantly. The closer we got, the louder the pulse grew. I could feel it vibrating through my teeth, my chest, my skull. I felt like the thing was peeling me apart layer by layer, reading me. Then I heard something I hadn't expected. A voice, a human voice. Rocky! I spun. Clayson stood at the entrance of the cavern. Or at least, what used to be Clayson. His armor was torn and blackened. His skin shimmered like metal folding into flesh. His eyes glowed the same deep red as the machine that had pinned him. But he was standing, breathing, smiling. You left me, he said calmly, but it saved me. Bisma moved in front of me instantly, her energy flaring like a blade drawn in silence. That's not him anymore. But it was. I could still hear his voice. The same voice that once barked orders in the middle of a firefight. Clisson spread his hands slowly, like someone inviting a friend closer. Rocky, you don't have to fight this. It's bigger than us. It's older. It's already won. I raised my rifle. What did it do to you? It showed me the truth, he whispered. The war isn't coming. The war is already here behind him. The tunnel pulsed red. I heard metal moving. Not footsteps, but waves, like something huge was approaching. The sound of the machine that turned him. Bisma leaned close to my ear. If he reaches the core, it will wake everything. Everything, I breathed. She nodded once. And nothing will stop it. Clisson took a single step toward us. The core responded, its veins flaring brighter, its pulse quickening like a creature scenting blood. My finger hovered over the trigger. He was my friend, my mentor, my betrayal, my burden. Rocky, he whispered, don't stop. The same words Bisma had spoken the night everything shattered. I fired. The shot cut through the cavern like thunder, slamming into his chest. He staggered, and then laughed. The core answered with a roar that wasn't sound. It was inside me, tearing through bone and memory. The ceiling cracked. Golden light burst out like veins of molten sun. As the cavern shook and the core began to awaken, Cleason whispered through the fire. Not in pain, but in triumph. The cavern didn't explode. It woke up. The pulse inside the core shifted from a slow, ancient rhythm to something sharp, predatory. Golden cracks split across the ceiling as if the metal itself was trying to tear free. The ground beneath my boots trembled like a living thing trying to breathe for the first time in centuries. Clayson didn't fall after the shot. He straightened, like the bullet had only reminded him of what he had become. His eyes burned crimson, no longer human. You can't kill what's already chosen, he said softly. Bisma grabbed my arm and pulled me behind one of the broken support columns. Her grip was iron. She wasn't panicking. She was calculating. Rocky, Roshan's voice cracked through static. Power surge spreading through every deck. I'm reading seismic shifts in the foundation. It's not a surge, Bisma hissed. It's a heartbeat. The core throbbed again, an echo that pushed through the air and inside my head. Memories I'd buried started clawing their way up. The crash on Titan Ridge, my father's face in smoke, the smell of burning circuits. It wasn't showing me random images. It was inside me, digging. Clisson walked toward the core like a man coming home. His armor was peeling in thin metallic threads, merging with the golden veins running along the floor. Every step he took, the station changed shape around him, pipes bending like they were listening. Stop him, Roshan barked in my ear. If he reaches the core's heart, we lose this station. Everything how? I hissed back. Bisma's eyes were locked on the core. The core doesn't just respond to power. It responds to will. It's testing us. I stared at her. You mean it's alive? She nodded once. And it's choosing a side. Clisson reached the edge of the black sphere. He raised his hand slowly, reverently. Do you hear it, Rocky? It remembers us. It remembers everything. The sphere pulsed again, this time brighter. Shadows lifted from the floor like liquid smoke, rising and wrapping around his arms. He didn't fight it. He welcomed it. Roshan, I whispered, can we shut this down remotely? Negative, Roshan said sharply. It's bypassing human systems. If it bonds with him fully, the entire station becomes part of it. Bisma stepped forward. I grabbed her arm. What are you doing? She looked at me with a calmness that chilled me to the bone. Someone has to go in. No, you saw what it did to him. I'm not him. She pulled free from my grip and walked toward the sphere. The golden veins along the floor recoiled at first, then started following her steps like rivers bending around stone. It was like the core recognized something in her. Clisson turned sharply, eyes narrowing. You don't belong here. Neither do you, she said coldly. They stood on opposite sides of the core. Two beings who once fought together, now divided by something older than both of them. I raised my weapon again. My hands were shaking. My heart screamed to shoot him, but the core whispered otherwise. Choose, the voice echoed in my head. Not human, not Clisson, not Roshan. The core. Clisson's body started to glow, his outline blurred, merging deeper with the sphere. Roshan's voice in my ear grew frantic. Rocky! If you don't stop him in the next 30 seconds, the fusion will complete. Bisma placed her hands against the sphere. For a second, the light dimmed. The pulse slowed. Then the core roared. The sound wasn't sound at all. It was pressure. It slammed into my chest like a sledgehammer, throwing me against the wall. Sparks rained from the ceiling. The station howled like a beast waking up angry. Klessin screamed, but not in pain, in power. His voice layered with something ancient, a chorus of thousands. This place isn't a weapon, he growled. It's a crown. Bisma pushed harder, veins of golden light spiraling up her arms. Her body trembled, but she didn't step back. Rocky, she yelled. I can hold it, but not alone. I staggered to my feet, lungs burning. My hands closed around my rifle, then slowly loosened. If the core responded to will, then maybe, just maybe, I didn't need to fight it with bullets. I pressed my palm to the ground. It was warm, alive. It heard me. Roshan's voice became a distant hum as the cavern faded away. I felt something brush against my thoughts. A flood of memories, not mine. Cities swallowed by light, stars dimming, a war without soldiers. The core wasn't just power. It was a memory of everything that came before us. Rocky, Klessin whispered through the storm. Join me. My blood froze. Bisma's scream echoed as the core flared so bright it burned through the shadows. The golden veins wrapped tighter around her, trying to crush her into its will. Her voice broke. Don't let it win. And then, everything stopped. The core split in two, not shattered, opened. A thin, blinding crack of light appeared between Klessin and Bisma. And from that light, something stepped forward. Not a machine, not human, something waiting. As the figure emerged from the core's light, Klessin whispered in awe, the first one has returned. The light didn't shine, it hummed, like a star learning to speak. The figure stepped through the fracture in the core with the weight of a collapsing galaxy. Time itself seemed to bend around it. The air tasted electric, sharp, alive. Every cell in my body screamed at me to run, yet my feet wouldn't move. Its body was tall and lean, neither flesh nor machine. Threads of gold and black metal braided into a shape that resembled a being. But its face was nothing but a swirling void. And when it turned toward me, my heartbeat synced with the core's pulse. Roshan's voice broke through the static in my ear. Rocky, whatever that thing is, it isn't supposed to exist. Bisma was on her knees, breathing hard, the golden veins still gripping her like a crown of fire. Klessin stood opposite, his features distorted with awe. He wasn't afraid. He was kneeling. The first one, Klessin whispered. The one who built the core. The architect. The figure tilted its head. A ripple ran through the entire cavern, shaking the walls. It wasn't speaking with words. It was speaking inside our minds. Balance was broken. You opened the wound. My hands clenched. What are you? I forced the words out, even as the pressure pressed against my lungs. The void face pulsed with light. I am the beginning. And the end of your kind. Roshan's feed flickered violently. Rocky, its signal is overriding every frequency on the station. I'm losing control of the defense grid. Klessin rose slowly, hands spread, voice trembling with something that sounded dangerously close to devotion. I was chosen. I was promised. The first one drifted closer, its movements smooth, like gravity didn't apply. It stopped beside Klessin and placed one long, luminous hand against his chest. He didn't resist. He welcomed it. Bisma tried to stand, but the core chains tightened. She gasped, sweat streaking down her temple. Rocky, don't let it bond. Bond. The words slammed into me like shrapnel. I sprinted toward her, sliding across the cracked floor, ripping at the golden veins binding her. They burned cold. My skin split open, blood glowing faintly as the core recognized me. For a heartbeat, I felt it again. Memories that weren't mine. Cities without skies, oceans of code, dying stars. Klessin's voice cut through the storm. We don't have to fight, Rocky. Join me. With the first one, we can rewrite everything. I stared at him. The man who once saved my life in the ruins of Alarn. The same man who now stood inches from a god. His pupils were gone, replaced by spinning rings of light. That thing doesn't want to build, I spat. It wants to erase. The first one turned toward me. My knees almost buckled under the weight of its gaze. You misunderstand, it whispered into my skull. To build, we must unmake. Roshan's voice broke in again, jagged with static. Rocky, it's syncing with Claysan's neural pattern. If it completes the link, he'll control the entire station. With its power. Bisma forced out a hoarse whisper. Then, break the link. How? I asked, pulling harder at the core's grip. She screamed as one of the golden tendrils snapped, light spilling like liquid fire. She collapsed into my arms, but her eyes locked onto mine with desperate certainty. You have the core's mark too. I felt it when it touched you, I froze. My right palm, still raw from the earlier contact, was glowing faintly, pulsing in rhythm with the sphere. The core had chosen me too. Clayson tilted his head, a small smile breaking across his transformed face. It likes you, Rocky, but it loves me. Then the first one extended both its hands. Golden streams spiraled outward like a net of light, snaring the ceiling, the floor, everything. The cavern dissolved into pure brilliance. I wasn't standing on metal anymore. I was floating inside memory. A city hovered above a star. Roads curved through air like ribbons of silver. Voices sang in languages older than any human tongue. The core wasn't just built here. It was born here. This was your inheritance, the first one said, but your kind abandoned it. I saw Clayson in that vision. No, not him exactly. A shadow of him, walking beside beings made of light. A soldier turned prophet. His betrayal was already written. Rocky! Roshan's scream dragged me back. You need to act, now! The station's alarms roared. The core was expanding, its surface tearing reality like fabric. Claysan's hands rose higher. The first one lowered its head toward him. We will burn away their world, Claysan breathed, and build ours. I launched forward, slamming into him before their hands could fully merge. The impact threw us both against the core's inner shell. His eyes locked on mine, light flaring like wildfire. You think you can stop this? He hissed. You are part of this. The core shuddered. The crack of light widened into a gaping wound. Bisma screamed something I couldn't hear. Roshan's voice turned to static. And then I saw it. Inside Claysan's chest, where his heart should be, the core's fragment beating in sync with mine. I reached toward it without thinking. Claysan grabbed my wrist. If you pull it out, you kill me, he whispered. I met his glowing eyes and whispered back, I know. Rocky's fingers closed around the core fragment inside Claysan's chest, and the entire station went dark. The world ended in silence. No explosion, no fire, just black, like someone had deleted existence itself. I couldn't breathe, couldn't see, couldn't even think for a moment. The core had gone dark, and with it, every light across the station vanished. It wasn't just power failure, it was erasure. Then, one sound, a heartbeat, not mine. Bisma's whisper reached me through the void. Rocky, open your eyes. I did, and saw light returning in thin, trembling threads. Not sunlight, not artificial glow. The core was beating again, but slower, deeper. Its veins pulsed faintly through the shattered floor. And beside it, Claysan lay motionless. I knelt beside him. My hand was still pressed against his chest, soaked in something warm that wasn't blood. The fragment was gone. I could feel it inside me now. The core's pulse had merged with my own. Roshan's voice finally broke through static. Rocky, talk to me. What the hell happened down there? I swallowed hard. He's down. But it's not over. Bisma stood a few feet away, her silhouette limned by faint golden light. She looked weaker than I'd ever seen her, shoulders trembling, breath uneven, but her eyes burned, alive and defiant. You took the fragment, she said softly. It chose you. Don't say that, I muttered, shaking my head. It's not a choice. It's a curse. Claysan's body convulsed. His eyes snapped open, empty, blind. The first one's voice echoed faintly through him, distorted, distant. The vessel has shifted. Balance must be restored. Rocky, move! Bisma screamed. Before I could react, Clissan's arm shot forward, grabbing my neck. His grip was inhuman. Light bled through his veins, burning white hot. My vision blurred as he forced me back toward the core's fractured surface. You stole it from me, he rasped. Give it back. The core's pulse surged again, through me this time. I felt power crackle across my skin, crawling through my veins like electricity. For a split second, I saw everything. Stars collapsing, systems dying, 1,000 civilizations wiped clean. The core wasn't just a weapon. It was history resetting itself. Bisma fired her plasma blade. The beam sliced across Clissan's shoulder, severing his grip. He stumbled back, light spilling from the wound like molten glass. She caught me as I fell, her arms trembling around me. You can't hold that power, she gasped. It will eat you alive. Then what's the alternative? I coughed, blood in my mouth. Let him destroy the galaxy? Roshan cut through again, voice shaking. You've got less than 5 minutes before the gravitational field collapses. The core's energy signature is destabilizing everything within 100 clicks. I glanced at the core. Its heartbeat had turned frantic. The golden veins pulsed like veins in a dying creature. Space around it was bending, fragmenting, showing flashes of other realities. Cities made of sound, oceans hanging upside down, sun screaming silently. Clisson stood again, half his face lit by the same impossible light. You think you can control it? It's rewriting you. Even now I looked down and saw the golden patterns spreading beneath my skin. My veins shimmered faintly, the same pattern that once marked the core walls. Rocky, Bisma whispered, horror in her eyes. You're becoming it. I turned to her, my voice breaking. If it's inside me, maybe I can use it. Just long enough to end this, she shook her head violently. No, once it fuses completely, you'll vanish. Not die, erase. But there was no time. The air itself began to collapse inward as gravity folded around the core. Clayson's laughter echoed like static in my ears. He raised his hand, calling shards of golden light that twisted through the air like knives. Then we end this, I said, stepping forward. He moved first. His strike split the air like thunder. I blocked it with my forearm, light meeting light. The shockwave blew the floor apart. Bisma was thrown backward, screaming my name. I barely heard it. Every hit felt like eternity colliding. My mind flooded with visions. Him and me as brothers, as enemies, as soldiers in a forgotten war. Maybe we'd been fighting for centuries and just didn't remember. You can't win, he hissed, because you and I are the same. I clenched my fist and drove it straight through the illusion of his words. No, Clisson, I whispered. That's why I have to stop you. The fragment inside me flared, light exploding from my chest. Clisson screamed as it hit him. His body disintegrated in waves of brilliance, fading into dust and static. But the light didn't stop. It kept growing, faster, hungrier. The core began to collapse inward. Roshan's voice screamed in my comm. Rocky, the core's consuming the station. Get out now. Bisma stumbled toward me through the chaos, hair flying in the storm of light. Her voice broke against the roar. Rocky, listen to me. You can't contain it. You have to release it. How? She grabbed my face, eyes fierce through tears. Through me. I froze. No, she nodded. You're human. You'll break, but I'm not. I can hold it long enough for Roshan to pull us out. The core split again, its interior now a churning void of white flame. Space itself was unraveling. I looked at her, really looked, and realized what she was about to do. I shook my head, voice cracking. You do that. You'll... Her lips brushed against mine, soft, fleeting, filled with every word we'd never said. Don't stop, she whispered. Then she pressed her palm against my chest and pulled. The world went white. My body convulsed as the energy poured out of me, flooding into her. She screamed, light bursting through her veins. The core roared in unison. And then, silence. Her body fell limp into my arms. The golden veins on her skin faded. The core dimmed, shrinking to a flicker. Roshan's voice trembled through static. Rocky, what happened? I looked up, holding her close, and whispered, She saved us. But then, behind her, inside the dying core, a shape began to move. A hand. A voice. You didn't destroy it, the voice said. You set it free. As Bisma's lifeless body glowed faintly in my arms, the core reformed itself into her shape. Bisma's body was still in my arms, cold, weightless, silent. The core wasn't gone. It was wearing her shape. Golden light spread from the center of the chamber, like a sunrise tearing through black water. Her outline formed slowly, every curve of her face drawn in burning gold. But her eyes, those soft, fierce eyes, were now just endless light. Bisma, I whispered. The figure tilted its head, like it was learning her again. And then it spoke. Not in her voice, not exactly, but close enough to break me in half. You gave me a name. Roshan's voice cracked through the calm, ragged and low. Rocky, this reading isn't possible. She's not just a vessel. The core's becoming her. I rose slowly, my hand trembling. No, you're not her. The figure stepped forward. Light spilled with every movement, erasing the cracks in the floor, knitting the shattered station back together like time itself was obeying her. But there was no warmth in it, just raw power. I am what she was willing to give, it said, and more. The ground shuddered violently. A rumble rolled through the station as the outer decks peeled away from reality. Roshan's panicked voice punched through. Gravitational collapse accelerating. Rocky, we've got less than 3 minutes before the entire orbital grid folds in on itself. If she fully fuses with the core, nothing survives. I took a step forward. Bisma, if you're still in there, fight it. For a moment, something flickered in those golden eyes, a pulse of blue, her real color. My chest tightened. I can't hold it, she whispered, voice fractured, overlapping with the core's. It's too strong. Behind her, the core shifted, revealing a shadow. Clesan. He wasn't dust. He was becoming something worse. Half of him was human, the other half pure code and gold, crawling like a virus through his flesh. His voice was sharp, poisoned with something ancient. You took my place, he rasped, but this isn't over. Clesan, I hissed, don't. He smiled, a cold, broken thing. I'm not asking. In a blink, he lunged at her. Golden threads exploded from his chest like hooks, trying to drag her light inward. The core responded instinctively, twisting the air into a violent storm. Energy ripped through the cavern, flinging me backward. Roshan screamed in my ear. Rocky, the station's breaking apart. If this fight continues, everything goes with it. I pushed up from the ground, lungs burning. Clesan's tendrils wrapped around Bisma's glowing form, pulling, ripping, merging. Her voice fractured like glass. He's trying to overwrite me. I sprinted toward them through the chaos. Golden shards slashed my arms, but I didn't stop. Get away from her! I slammed into Clesan. For a moment, everything froze. His hand wrapped around my throat, the other buried in her light. The core's heartbeat thundered in my ears. She was never meant to have it, he spat. But you, Rocky, you were the key all along. I didn't understand. Or maybe I did, deep down. When the fragment entered me, it marked me. That was why the core responded to her, through me. Roshan cut in, voice a desperate whisper. Rocky, the energy is tied to you. If you cut your link, the core collapses with it. I stared at Clesan, at her, at the light. My heart pounded like a war drum. If I do that, I die. Roshan's voice cracked. If you don't, everyone dies. Bisma's face flickered inside the core's glow. Just for a breath. She looked at me the way she had the night she first whispered, Don't stop, like someone who trusted me with the last thread of a world. Rocky, she breathed. End it. The core screamed, not sound, memory. Every moment we shared, her laugh in the ruined hangar, her voice echoing through static, her hand in mine beneath dying stars. It all crashed against me like a tidal wave. I raised my shaking hand and placed it on the core's chest. On her. Clayson's roar filled the chamber. He lunged, but I caught his wrist. His veins were fire. Mine were worse. I'm not giving it to you, I growled. I'm taking it with me. His eyes widened. No! I ripped the fragment free from myself. Light detonated. The core cracked open like a star imploding. Clayson screamed as the wave devoured him, his body disintegrating into streaks of ash and gold. The golden chamber buckled inward, folding into itself. But in the center of the storm, she was there. Bisma. Not the core. Not the architect. Her. She cut my face, weightless, fading. You did it! Tears blurred my vision. I don't want to lose you. You never will, she whispered. You're a part of me now, and I'm free. Her light flowed into my chest, not burning, not consuming. Just warmth. For the first time since this began, the core stopped beating. Roshan's voice cut through the dying storm. Rocky, I've got you on sensors. The core's collapsing. Jump now! I staggered to my feet, the light fading around me, the walls crumbling like sand. I triggered the evac beacon. A single pod shot through the chaos as the station folded in on itself like an origami star burning away. Through the viewport, I watched it disappear into nothing. Silence. Then stars. Hours later, drifting alone in the pod, Roshan's soft voice filled the cabin. The station's gone. Core's gone. So is Clisson. I stared at my hands. Faint golden veins still glimmered beneath my skin, but they weren't chains anymore. They were echoes. Bisma's energy is stable, Roshan added softly. She's in you now. I closed my eyes and whispered her name to the void. For the first time, it didn't echo back like loss. It answered like a heartbeat. The stars stretched before me, endless, waiting. And somewhere inside me, she whispered, Don't stop. Bisma's soul lives inside Rocky. The core is gone. Clayson is erased. But the war between stars has only just begun.